Hey guys, I'm Evan. Welcome to Country View Acres. So today we are installing fence posts. We're going to be putting in T-posts and pipe posts, and we're going to be pounding them in with the tractor. And we're going to try to put a post every 12 feet. But the pipe posts, we're going to make sure that we have them at all of the high points and low points along the fence line to help hold the fence up and down. And then we're also going to make sure that we have them a minimum of at least every 72 feet along the fence line. And then once this is all done, we should have plenty of support when we install the fence. Whoa, sorry.
Hey. Back up. Okay. 2 bar. Come forward.
Hey,
Right there.
turn it back a little bit. There you go. So we've got 3 of our pipe posts pounded in the ground so far. We got 1 over here, and we've got the 2 that go on our short run on that side. And we tried to put in T-posts at the same time. We put in a pipe post, and then we'd pull a string in between and try to put in, pound in the T-posts. And we were just tearing up the field bad because the tractor has to sit out in the field, and we were just rutting it up. So the tractor's heavy, we got 3 days of rain, plus this is still really soft from being plowed and planted. So that's not working for us. So what we're gonna do is we do have to have the big tractor to pound these pipe posts in the ground. So we're just gonna back straight up down the fence line. We got 5 more to put in. We'll get those in the ground, and then we're gonna come back. We're gonna try something different for the T-posts, and hopefully it works, and hopefully we don't rut up anything else. Oh man, you're doing the whole thing. Look at that. Go ahead.
Well, it's because they're the smaller ones. I'm actually able to lift these. My eye says that's straight.
Your eye says that's straight?
Yeah, see how close I am?
No, I'll tell you. You got to move forward probably 6 inches.
Okay.
1 more inch forward. One more inch forward.
It was only supposed to be 1. I did move forward.
Yep, right there looks good to me. So to put in these pipe posts, which are roughly 72 feet apart from each other, we're just doing it by eye. We're looking at it and making sure it's perfectly in line with this post and the brace on the far end. And then afterwards, we'll pull a string between them and we'll put in the T-posts. And this is the exact same way I did it on the front fence. And if you look down that front fence, you can tell it looks perfectly straight. It's amazing how well, I mean, if you take your time and look down this, how well your eyeball can actually line this up. And it's turned out good so far. Faster than I want. I'm gonna guess right there. Where was your guess at?
Like right here.
It needs to go away from you.
Like closer to where I said?
No, away from you.
Oh.
Halfway in between where you were and there, or you know where we started. It needs to go back toward you about a 1/2 inch. How about that? I think I told you wrong. I think it needed to go the other way a 1/2 inch, sorry.
I feel like you're playing with me now.
I might be. Good, perfect.
Okay.
Leave it there.
Because I can only hold it level for like a second before I start moving.
It is hard to do.
Well, plus it's like downhill and...
Now you're just coming up with excuses.
It's true.
All right, we just finished getting all the pipe posts in, so if I zoom in here, you can see just one post because they're all perfectly in line with each other. See, I eyeballed it, but it turned out really good. So to put in the T-posts, I think we're gonna switch the T3 post driver. We're actually gonna put it on the smaller tractor. Now I've said in the past that this tractor is too small to run that post driver. It does not have the hydraulic flow that you really need. But this can fit in between the fence and the trees. So I think I can get in an area where I'm not tearing up the pasture, I guess, right? And then we can put that on there, and all we're trying to do is put in T-posts. But the ground is very hard. You can push the posts in only about 1 foot, and then we had to use the driver to get them in the rest of the way. So I'm not sure how well this will work. I just know that this tractor is smaller, it weighs less, it has a different sets of tires on it, and I think we can do most of this without actually driving on the pasture. So we're gonna give it a shot. All right, I had to go grab my adapters. These are like an ag coupler to a skid steer quick attach coupler. And I gotta put these on here so I can hook up this implement. Honestly, I think these skid steer ones are usually a little harder to get on, but they don't leak oil like the other ones. Well, we'll give it a shot, see if it works. Three more. Rebecca's just marking every one of these 5 feet so we know exactly how deep to drive them. Make it as big as you need it. Nobody will ever see these marks.
Mm-hmm. Deer tracks. I didn't see those earlier. I think they're fresh. Okay. Oh, well, sorta.
All right, here we go. That's as far as it's gonna push it. Good? That one's going in. I feel like I'm making it crooked. That it? What's the look on your face?
It looked like it could have gone like this much more. Yeah.
You want to go farther?
It's just it was going so fast. One more. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Good.
Back up.
Back up.
Yep. Whoa.
So the little tractor is working on the T-post. It's actually working better than I thought it would. And what we're trying to do is we're trying to drive the tractor on this side of the fence along the woods and keep it off of the pasture. So hopefully we don't rut anything else up, and it's small enough to maneuver in that space on that side. So we're starting to lose our daylight. Rebecca thinks we need to quit, don't you?
Yes.
Yes, she's ready to quit. And when it gets close to supper time, she's pretty well done. But you can see back there, the sun is actually down over the horizon. We still got chores that we need to do, you know, right here when it gets dark. So we're just gonna drive in a couple more posts, and we'll probably have to just come back in the morning and finish this up. Good morning, everyone. I'm out here in the pasture. I'm gonna let our flurd out to the warm season grass. And if you haven't heard the term flurd before, that is a combination of a herd and a flock like we have, where we run them both together. But it's been long enough now, we can put them back out here in this forage. It should be safe for them to eat. Come on, Maya. So I've been reading a lot on this warm season forage we have out here, and this sorghum Sudan grass. We've talked about it before. After freeze, it becomes toxic. But the other thing that I've recently learned, after a drought and you get like a big rain after a drought, it can cause the same toxicity, which we just had not too long ago. We've been kind of under drought conditions, and it's been long enough days now that it should be safe out here, but I didn't know that before. So yeah, there's a couple different ways that this can become toxic. But one other thing that I'd like to point out is this section over here on this half. We've got a couple different plantings here. So this side over here is mostly sorghum Sudan, but this side over here, this is mostly millet. It's probably 95% millet. It did have a little bit of forage sorghum in it, but most of it didn't come up. And millet is not toxic after a freeze. So this has actually been safe for them to eat pretty much the whole time. And what I'll probably eventually do is we have a part of the sorghum Sudan fenced off. I'll probably come back here in another day or so and I'll just fence off the entire sorghum Sudan, and I'll just close it off until I know we get a killing freeze, but I can at least let them out here and forage around on this millet. So right here, this is one of the taller pieces of millet, but this is what the seed pods would look like, just like that. And the sorghum Sudan grass, it has seed pods that look like this. Yeah, they definitely seem to be happy to have somewhere to at least walk around and to browse a little bit. They're not just gonna necessarily graze on this. They'll just walk through and eat little bits and just kind of browse more like a deer, I think. So they've been locked in this little pasture over here, which is, I think, roughly around 3/4 of an acre, I think. And then they also have it opened up back here where the pine trees are. So together, this whole area is probably at least an acre, maybe a little over an acre, somewhere in there. But opening this up, we gave them at least another 4 acres to be able to walk around and browse, and it'll at least keep them occupied. I'm gonna try to empty this cradle feeder out, and hopefully I can do it without bending it up. There we go. We'll try to dump it right on the middle where it was sitting. Did I get it? I did. It's starting to rust here on the bottom. Almost wonder if it needs cleaned up and painted. Keep it lasting longer. I got all that hay leaning on the outside of the feeder, making it heavy. So I'm gonna give them one more chance to eat some of the silage. They're really not interested in it anymore. It's been out here maybe 7-8 days now, and it has lost its moisture. It's dry now. It's lost its scent. Doesn't smell like fermented feed anymore, so they just don't want to eat it. And then this hay ring here, I went ahead and removed. The sheep are still getting inside of it, so there's poop mixed in here. They've peed on it, and nobody's really interested in eating it as well, which I don't necessarily blame them. So I'm just gonna give them a couple days or a day or so, see if they clean this up a little bit, and then I can bring them out some fresh bales. But I will say, this round bale feeder, if it was only cattle out here eating, they would clean up what was in there fairly well, and I could bring them out another hay bale. It's just the fact when the sheep get in there, they start pooping and peeing on it, nobody wants to eat it. Like I said, I really can't blame them. But what they are eating is the hay bale here in our new feeder. Of course, it didn't get like soaking wet in the 3 days of rain we had the other day. And you can see they've ate quite a bit. And apparently it makes a good bed for cat. And this feeder is small enough that the sheep don't seem to climb inside. They can reach the hay so far. But what I noticed the other day, there's a lot of hay right here next to the gate where we load the hay bale. So I'm gonna open this up and see if I can push the hay farther in so it's easier for them to reach. Probably gonna fall out on the ground. Nope. Well, I don't think pallet forks was necessarily the best thing to use, but I definitely got it farther away from the gate. It's probably hard to tell, but I actually did get the actual bale to move. The center of the bale is right there. So now the center is only about 1.5 feet from that side. So they definitely ate that half of the bale, and the rest of it's where they can reach it a lot better. Well, I think I've done my due diligence this morning. I've tried to make their feed more accessible, and then we gave them like another 4 acres to be able to roam around and browse. So I think I'm gonna go back to the fencing project, see if we can finish up those posts. And I've got somebody that's trying to hitchhike. You can't be on there. Come on, come on. This is Callie, because she's a calico, but she needs to get off the tractor. Come here, sweetheart. Come on. There you go.
I think it's colder today than yesterday. That looks good.
Whoa, lifting the tractor.
Whoa.
So far with the T-post, it's going good. This tractor, you know, besides it can drive down here, it can actually get in here sideways between the fence line and the trees to drive these posts. So it is actually working pretty well for T-posts. But Rebecca just noticed something, didn't you?
Yeah, we have a spectator.
Yeah, we have one of the steers just got out over the electric fence and he's staring at us. So
He's just laying down watching us.
I think he's standing up. It's just because it's a hill. You can't see his feet.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
I think he's laying down.
Well, we gotta go put him, see if we can get him put back up.
He knows he's not supposed to be out here.
Yeah. I don't know if you can see it in this camera. He's like right there. And let me go lay this fence down for him. Come on, buddy. Well, that ain't gonna work. We may have to take him to the green gate. Maya, I'm afraid you'll actually try to get out. You're the ringleader of this bunch. Didn't have to be that hard. Come on. Make him chase us around a couple times before he goes in. Well, I probably didn't show up in camera very well because this camera really only works close up. And it took us a few times, but we got him back in the pasture and now we can go back to work on the fence posts. We only got 5 more to go. Yeah, we had 22 to do this morning and we just got 5 left and at least that's done. Well, hopefully here next week we'll have this perimeter fence all finished up, and then if they jump out of the hot wire again, they're still within the perimeter fence and it's not really a big deal. They're just grazing on something they shouldn't be. Whoa, whoa, whoa.
I ain't going the wrong way.
Oh yeah, that's what happens when you lift the tractor up, then the T-post bends.
That looks good.
Too far?
Probably one hit, one, maybe 2 hits too far.
Too far.
It's not terrible.
Well, I might pull it up if it's too bad.
Well, it's actually not.
It's good?
Yeah, I can see.
All right.
See it? It's
Yeah.
like perfect.
except for it's leaning.
Well,
Yeah.
they're all leaning a little. That it just pushes them.
Yep.
But
You got your level?
yeah.
I'll start straightening these T-posts out. Thank you.
I'm gonna go get the side by side.
Okay.
39 still hasn't moved. It's like we put him in a corner, like he's punished.
It's like he doesn't know how to get back out with the rest of them.
They came in and went out.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, the last thing to do now is all these T-posts are just a little crooked, so I got to level and we're gonna straighten them out. All right, we're looking down the fence posts here and they're pretty straight, but you can see that one T-post, or that row of T-posts right there, is a little bit out of line with the rest of everything else. We're gonna go ahead and pull a couple of those and fix them.
It'll work. Oh, it won't. It did.
All right, we got our posts put back in the ground, so when we look down our fence line here, they're better than they were. And everything actually looks fairly straight. Pretty happy with that. So I've only got a couple more things to do before I can start installing the new fence. So I've got to build out this corner brace here. It's about a 45-degree angle corner. And then I've got to touch up the paint on the posts and put the caps on top of these posts and all the line posts further down. And then I'll be ready to finally start putting up this fence. So I've said it in a previous video that this post pounder is really too big for this tractor here. And I still stand behind that. I don't think that I would be able to pound in a pipe post with this driver on the tractor. It's just not heavy enough, doesn't have enough hydraulic flow. But for what we were doing today, trying to fit in a tight spot, pounding in T-posts, this actually worked out fairly slick. Now the only trouble, I would push the posts in until I started to lift the tires off the ground, and then I would pound it from there. And it worked out fine, but there was a couple times where I actually lifted the front tires up off the ground trying to push in the post, and when it did, the post bent and the whole tractor went over to the side. And one time it moved probably a whole foot, and Rebecca, she says I tried to kill her with the tractor. It wasn't even close, but that's her story. But it did shift pretty good, so you'd have to be real careful with them T-posts because they're not going to hold up the tractor and keep it in one place. The tractor's going to move with the T-post, that's for sure. But other than that, yeah, it worked out fairly well for the T-posts, and I'm glad I had it. So it is actually starting to sprinkle right now, and I think we're going to call it a day. And I'll come back another day, I'll finish that brace up, I'll touch up the pipes, and hopefully, you know, we'll get this fence all pulled and put in the next week. That's what I'm hoping. I'm hoping by the end of next week, we have this fence complete, and then I can move on to one of my other goals to try to get it done by the end of the year. But I think that's it for this video, guys. So thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.